New images from Nicaragua tonight showing the ongoing war on religion. Ahead of Holy Week, the regime of President Daniel Ortega banned outside processions and religious activities. The newspaper Artículo 66 reports that despite the ban, Vice President Rosario Murillo has promoted parades with copied images of saints. They say that's because she aims to replace the church.
Lo que hace es montar réplicas.
What it does is set up replicas, and those replicas are the ones that go out to the public, to the different traditional routes that are done in these processions. That's what it's done. She has set it up that way, and she continues with criticism, talking about the priests and the church itself as demons. She wants to dictate the type of worship that has to be performed in Nicaragua, and it is practically a cult of her personality and thinking.
This year, more than 3,000 Holy Week processions were banned. A journalist has been arrested for posting a Holy Week service online. Victor Takei was detained for live streaming an Easter celebration on April 5th for the Facebook page of a local news site he directs. There has been no word on what that service was, and the video has since been deleted. Someone who knows this war against the Catholic Church well, Felix Maradiaga. Just months ago, he was a political prisoner. Now he lives in exile in the United States, and he just testified to Congress about Nicaragua's atrocities. He joins us now. Hi, Felix.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity to tell about the very serious situation of our church in Nicaragua.
Absolutely. And Felix, you know firsthand of the suffering Catholics are experiencing there. It's been called an unholy war. What's the message you hope members of Congress received after your testimony?
That in Nicaragua, there is repression and persecution of the religious community in Nicaragua, particularly the Catholic Church. There is religious persecution in Nicaragua, and the United States plays a very important role in the international community. We are asking not only Congress, but the administration to work together with the United Nations, for example, with a special rapporteur on religious freedom, to shed a light on what is happening in Nicaragua, and particularly to help us free Monsignor Rolando Alvarez, the Bishop of the Diocese of Matagalpa.
Yeah, I mean, shed a little light on your experience. Why were you imprisoned, and how were you and other Catholics treated in prison?
Well, in my case, I was part of a group of 5 presidential candidates that were running a primary election. Prior to that, in 2018, the Catholic Church played a major role in peace building in Nicaragua during the 2018 massive protest against the regime. So the Catholic Church tried to mediate the crisis. And of course, because of its strong stand in justice, because of its voice in human rights, the Catholic Church became a target for the Ortega administration. So in the first phase of repression, the Ortega regime put in prison hundreds of political prisoners, and later started to persecute the church. 8 priests were in prison. 7 of them have already been released. But Monsignor Alvarez, who's a very strong voice on human rights in Nicaragua, has just been sentenced to 26 years in prison and placed at a maximum security prison in Nicaragua.
Yeah, Bishop Alvarez, we've been reporting on his situation. He was accused of being a traitor to the homeland for criticizing the dictatorship of President Daniel Ortega. The bishop decided to stay in prison in Nicaragua instead of being freed and deported to the U.S. like you and hundreds of others. I know you're a friend of the bishop. Why do you think he stayed?
Well, he stayed because there are other, at the time, 36 political prisoners left behind. He stayed because he was forced to accept that he was guilty of treason, and on moral grounds, he wouldn't accept any responsibilities. He simply exercised his pastoral role, speaking at his homilies about peace, about reconciliation, about freedom, about democracy, and also because the persecution of his church continues. So he stayed back in Nicaragua as an extraordinary example of nonviolence, using his own body, using his own principles, and putting himself at risk to raise global awareness about the very serious situation of human rights in Nicaragua.
Do you believe that he's in danger right now?
I do. Having been in that prison myself, I was at El Chipote prison, that's the way we call it in Nicaragua. He's at another prison under very similar circumstances, probably even worse, because the regime has been made very clear that they consider him a traitor to the nation precisely because of his pastoral voice. He has spoken in his character as a bishop, but the regime considers him the main voice of the opposition. He's not a political opposition. Once again, Bishop Alvarez speaks truth to power, and that's why they don't like him.
So what can people who are watching at home do to enact change in Nicaragua?
First, let the world know what is Bishop Alvarez. Now, Catholics around the world, and also those non-Catholics who basically believe in human dignity, they can use their voice, their power to social media. Let the world know about what Bishop Alvarez. We're raising a global campaign through masses and prayer. So if you can talk to your parish and let your local parishioner, your local priest know about the situation of the church in Nicaragua. Write to your local Congress asking for stronger targeted sanctions to the Nicaraguan regime because of religious persecution. Catholics are persecuted in Nicaragua, and we need to stop that.
All right, Felix Maradiaga, Nicaraguan scholar and activist, thanks so much for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.